give me hope.
Bro, I'm so scared.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Quiet Minds Podcast. My name's Travis.
My name's Marcel.
And with us today, we have Aaron, a.k.a. Aaron, or some of us might know him as GCA Journeyman.
That's me. Yeah. Hello.
Good old Aaron over here.
Right?
Yeah, right.
So, in today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about something that's actually near dear to my heart, Marcel's heart, something that Aaron is actually in right now, and that's blue collar trade. So, fun fact, first and foremost, we're going to let Aaron introduce himself.
Nice. All right. What's up, everybody? So I am Aaron, as Travis just said. I probably should have gotten some pointers before we started this. Of like, okay, well, you know,
Who are you
this.
anyway?
Right.
Breakdown.
You
Who
want
are
the breakdown
you?
like from birth, or do we want to just like, you know what I mean?
Why did this turn into a dating app?
Bro, right? Like, you know, I feel like it's like now it's like quick, you know what I mean? Like, God, speed dating, and all of a sudden, like, bro, I'm about to get kicked. I'm about to get kicked right now.
Oh my god.
What it is it's
Aaron.
What is it?
Hey Aaron, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay,
What do you like
right.
to do for fun? Do you enjoy
Okay.
long walks at the beach? Or do you like picnics in the park?
It's
What-
funny you mention that because I hate all those things.
That's what we're looking for. Who the hell are you anyway?
All right, right. So I live here in southern New Mexico. I was actually born in Missouri. Okay, I was born in Missouri. Yes, you heard me right. And
Upgrade.
yeah, I
Upgrade.
was actually born in Springfield. So I was born in Springfield. Yeah. So right. So well, do tell. I wanna know.
Fun fact.
Okay. I want to know.
So today's my oldest daughter's birthday. She's 15.
Hey, right on,
She was
man.
born at
Congrats.
St.
That's
Luke's
great.
Hospital, St. Louis.
Wow, for real.
Yeah.
Holy
I
cow,
wasn't.
that's crazy.
She
Wow.
for the first 4 years of her life lived in Chesterfield, Missouri.
Wow. Crazy. Okay. All right. So basically, I mean, like, you know, whenever people here in town ask me, they're like, oh, well, where are you from? What's your history? I wish I could just say born and raised here in Cruces, but like my mom, right? My mom was from here in Cruces, or here in Las Cruces, New Mexico, right? And she ended up dating my dad. They both moved to Missouri, where my dad's from. Then she had me, and then within 2 years, my mom moved back. So I wasn't. I was 2 when I moved back from Missouri. Or I say back from, but you know, when my mom moved back from Missouri to Las Cruces, and you know, our family's just been here in Cruces for a few generations now. So, but yeah, so this is where home is and all that good stuff. But grew up here, moved around a little bit. Basically, right out of high school, I was a super screw up. Right in high school, I actually jumped in the trades a little bit. When I was a junior, I had worked at a basically a low voltage controls company. Called Coyote Cabling. Again,
Shout
it
out
was,
Coyote Cabling.
you know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, and granted, you know, it's high school, extremely part time. You know what I mean? And so it wasn't anything real crazy, but it was wiring like fire alarms. We'd go to schools and just do their annual, you know, inspections and stuff like that. So it was a lot of that. But did that, and then you know, in high school, I was definitely class clown status. But not like the popular type, just like I just screwed around, you know, like not the popular type whatsoever. No one knew me. Okay. I was not remembered. But then once I got out of high school, man, I tried going to college. I went to NMSU, right, in Mexico State University here, and it just wasn't my thing, man. I've always been bad about that, you know, and I was bad at it then too. And so but made some grave mistakes, screwed up the whole life, you know, like got close to some prison time, all that kind of fun stuff. Really went off the deep end for a minute. And then you know, granted, because once you have that on your record and stuff like that, man, very few things are left, right? And and so you jump in the trades, right? And so at first, you know what I mean?
Left is trades.
You know what I mean? That's what's left, bro. You know, I mean, it was like, you know what I mean? And at first, you know, I considered my first real job was actually plumbing, and I did plumbing for a few years, and I literally just didn't like dealing with shit, right?
Turd chaser. Fucking
Bro,
turd
you
chaser.
know what I mean? You know what I
Just
mean?
a turd chaser.
Granted, you know, but what I did really appreciate was at that time, like the owner of the company, he really kind of took me under his wing, because so just before that, my dad had actually passed away, and so it was a, you know, brutal time for my whole family and stuff like that, and so the owner of the company, he was actually friends with my dad or knew of my dad, and just had a lot of respect for my dad, and he was like, hey man, I'm gonna give you a shot here, and you're gonna straighten out. And so that's what I did. And,
What was the name of that company?
It was D&M Plumbing is what it was called.
Shout out, motherfucking D&M Plumbing.
Yeah, for real, right?
Whoop, whoop.
Fucking sponsorship wherever we
Yeah.
fucking can, right?
Right.
Listen, bro, shout outs mean
Yeah.
something.
Right. Yeah. And but anyway, we ended up splitting, went different ways, right? And I ended up jumping between a few different trades for about a year and a half. I tried framing, couldn't do it. I mean, just could not do it. Those are some real men, dude. You're just out there just grinding away. And I'm like, bro, this sucks. This sucks.
Fuck this.
But then, did roofing and framing, roofing, did some painting. I just jumped in a couple other random trades. And there wasn't anything that was like super that I really found engaging apart from up to that point was plumbing. And I was like, man, like I really messed up. Right. But then after about it, like I said, about a year and a half, something like that, whenever my plumbing contractor was doing his thing when I was working there, we, were plumbing a bunch of houses. And so you're always working alongside electricians. And that owner knew who I was and stuff like that. And he actually ended up calling me up because it took a year and a half, but he called and he was like, hey man, I heard that you and D&M split. He was like, why don't you come over here, man? Like you need to come over here and just start busting ass. And so I did. And so that was maybe that was 15 years ago. So that was 15 years ago now is when I jumped on the electrical train and kind of went from there. Then, I mean, it was really all kind of history after that, but you want the whole spiel as far as like the companies and stuff like that. Like I could give it to you, but that's really how I got into electrical. And since then, it's just blossomed since then, really. So
you're a sparky former turd chaser,
boom.
Low voltage, or
so I guess for our terms, as far as what me and Marcel are looking at, we consider it low voltage, right? Because residential, commercial, right? We're not doing lineman work, right? Because that's
no. Are you an inside wireman or are you an out? Are you an inside wireman?
Correct.
Oh yeah. You're a sparky. You just do
right.
resin.
Yeah.
You
correct.
Just do resin.
So no lineman work or anything crazy like that. Yeah. I don't have any of that. The certifications I have now is I have my journeyman commercial and residential card. License. Yeah. J card. And then I also have my contractor's license as well. So, yeah.
I like how you said cruces and not Las Cruces. It made it sound a little bit cooler than fucking New Mexico.
I know, you know what I mean? Like, and I think most of the locals just call it cruces, but
I mean, that's like when I was living in Paso, it was just Paso.
Well, see, and the more I think about it, like you never hear anybody say just Angeles. Everyone says Los Angeles. So what's the deal? What's the deal? But right. Most of us just call it cruces.
That's cool. Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, man.
You know my illustrious co-host a little bit,
right? Just a smidge, huh?
Yeah, just a touch, a couple of dates, nothing serious.
Right.
Just some coffee amongst
first base, second base, no third base. Let's not get crazy.
Yeah, don't get crazy. Whoa. I'm a married man.
Right.
No, man.
Oh my God.
What's interesting enough though. And I was telling Marcel this
is
that you also work for the community college.
Correct. So
what do you do there?
Now, right. So basically now at this point, right. So it's kind of branched out from like really once I got my contractor's license, things really opened up then, right? And so now what I do is I teach at a community college and I teach electrical, commercial and residential wiring, and I teach solar installations and then solar theory and installations. And then I also teach an electronics communication systems class. So I teach 3 different classes there.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Right.
Look at
and actually, okay, you ready for some full circle shit? Here we go.
I'm
all right.
Really
so
you're going to give it to me. So go.
I'm going to give it. Yeah. I'm going to give it. All right. So, all right, here it comes. Here it comes. All right.
Give it to me. I'm so ready for this.
Right. Now I know how you guys feel having my face so large, because seeing Marcel's face that large, it's just awful. But so 3.5 years ago, I actually went to it was basically just like kind of like a little seminar that our town had, and they called it Power Up Las Cruces, where they had representatives from the city, the state, El Paso Electric, which is our electrical distributor here, or distribution, right?
EPE.
EPE, exactly.
Shout out EPE, baby.
My
What's
God, I
up?
can't stand him. I can't stand him. I can't stand him. But they deserve to be shouted out. You're right. Yeah, I hate you. Yeah. But so anyway, then they also had it open to the public, so anybody could go. They just didn't do a very good job of like kind of making it public and advertising for it. But anyway, so I went to this, right, because I was at that point I was a brand new contractor, so I was really going for networking and stuff and to kind of learn a little bit here and there. But so while I was there, I ran into that old boss of mine that was a plumber, and I hadn't seen him, in 12 years at that point, 11, 12 years, something like that. And so he's like, hey man, like, how are things? What's going on? We kind of catch up, and I told him I was a contractor and all that kind of stuff. And I told him, because at the time I really didn't appreciate it. And I told him then, I was like, look, man, like, I know it's been years, but I was like, but just know that like everything you taught me, I use to this day, every single thing. Like he taught me how to work hard, how to have fun on the job, but also be like, bro, but we're also making money. Like we're making money and we're spending someone else's money. So you need to bust ass. He taught me a lot of really good things as far as, work ethic goes. And so I told him all that and he really appreciated it and stuff like that. But so anyway, so then he tells me at the end of the whole seminar thing, he's like, hey man, you're not going to believe this, but I actually teach over at the community college. He's like, you need to come over here because you need to meet a few guys. And so it really worked out. Like, because he talked about how, because we split. He actually let me go. Like that was the first time I'd ever been fired was from that company way back. Yeah. From way back then, dude, it was and I still argue with him about it even now. Fired. What's that?
First it's next, then it's fired.
Yeah. Right. And so we've always like obviously like butted heads on how it went down and stuff like that. But he was like, you were one of my better workers, man. I really, because he was like, I heard like over the few years that you were with this guy Dave, who owned the electrical company. Again, they were friends, so Dave would kind of update him and be like, dude, he's rocking, he's doing great things. And so it just kind of worked out. It's just crazy how after all those years, it was like maintaining like a positive attitude and just being sincere and stuff like that really paid off. And so that's just continued now for the past 3.5 years as we both work there at the community college. And, still it's a lot of network and stuff like that. But now, man, like now that I'm at the community college, I remember like that first semester, I was like, I really wish because it took me a long time to get my journeyman's license, right? It took me like 6 years. And I was like, man, I wish I had this to start with. Cause it's just, like when you're out there in the trades, and you're working as an apprentice, a lot of times they won't take the time to teach you things because time is money and they don't have time for that. It's just like, bro, pull this wire from here to here, get that, do this, right? And you don't learn, you have to learn on your own. And so the community college is just really, really nice just because we kind of blend those two together where we actually because everything I just told you, did you hear me say anything about being a good teacher?
No,
I've never, you know what I mean? I've only taught on the field.
You said was great.
You know what I mean? And so I tell the students that at the beginning of the semester, I'm like, you think we're going to spend all this time in these books, dude? And it's like, that's because we kind of have to. But I try to do like 50-50 because it's a workforce center. So we actually have a shop in the back where we get to wire tiny houses. We wire sheds. They actually get to get their hands on things and, know that it's going to be applied to somebody somewhere. So, so I really like the program a ton. And I've been there for a couple years now. So
how's the food in the cafeteria, bro?
Right. We gotta know that.
How's the cafeteria, bro?
Well, and so so that's another thing too is I'm trying to work towards becoming actual faculty there because technically right now I'm just considered adjunct because I just go, I teach, I leave. I don't have to, you know what I mean? I don't have to do anything extra, no extra paperwork, nothing like that. And so I do have it really easy right now. But then all of a sudden there's paperwork, right? So it's kind of like a weird, it feels like it's in between there at the community college, but I've been trying to spend a lot of extra time there just because, I'm really trying to get my foot's in the door now, but making sure that they know that I'm like, hey, like I want to be here. And so it looks like come next semester, I'll actually be able to switch to faculty, which would be great. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's like with me, like plasterer by trade. Go fuck yourself.
What?
Plasterer by trade. Right, and oddly enough, you mentioned that your former boss, was Dave. Oddly enough, my former boss when I was working up in Washington, his name is Dave.
Wow.
What's his name?
You ready for another one? My dad's name is Dave too.
Fuck Dave.
Fuck
Dave. Dave, you're an asshole.
Fuck that guy.
You jerk, Dave.
So
you're not even worth David, Dave.
Bro. Who does he think he is? You know what I mean?
Right? When I was actually working in trade, I was his general foreman. So I was there on site making sure everything got done. He was essentially he was strictly plaster. He would do murals. There was a place that we were doing out in Lake Wenatchee, Washington. And I was looking at him build this mural out of veneer and gypsum plaster. And I went, I can do some of that. That's it. I can do a little bit of it. But the skill and hone set that he had was years upon years of the trade from working with my uncle at Warner Brothers, being a set builder. And that's where I actually honed my trade in, was working for him. And oddly enough, when it came down to push and shove, I ended up leaving trade to come back to California and meet my wife, oddly enough. And I haven't looked back since. Like, I love trade. Don't get me wrong, because I mean,
don't try to clean it up now, buddy. Don't clean it up now.
I love trade in the sense, right? I love trade in the sense that my father-in-law is an architect by trade. He's an architect and carpenter by trade. Okay. So when he found out that I know how to work with plaster, I know how to work with cement, he was like, "Hey, so we're redoing the outside of the house." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." He goes, "I need your ideas. I need you." We ended up adding roughly about $300,000 in invested revenue to the house if he was to ever sell it.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
especially in wherever the fuck Washington, wherever the fuck he was in.
That's down here. That's down here in Southern California. And
Sheesh.
What's funny is we were red tagged once during this whole process. We were red tagged once because of one nosy ass neighbor.
Get the permits, Jack. Get the permits, Jack.
For real, man. So pushing your luck out there.
So,
put you in prison, fool, for building illegally.
We technically did not need a permit for what we were doing. So all we were doing, right, was earthquake prevention.
You were putting in seismic? Is that what you were saying? So technically by city code, that would be a tenant improvement. Okay.
Correct.
So it would have to be a permitted tenant improvement with plans.
For this city.
Damn, what kind of city? Oh,
Damn,
that's
really?
right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Where the hell you are at Woods, Washington?
So we actually went to the city and we're like, "Hey, we're looking to pull these permits." And they go, "Yeah, you're doing preventative maintenance."
Oh, that's raggedy. They didn't want to do the paperwork.
Interesting.
So,
they did not want to do the paperwork.
And we're like, we'll do the permit. Like, we will pull the permit. We don't care. And so we're on the upper eaves of the garage, and we built we built scaffolding. Nosy ass neighbor says we're making an addition to the garage.
You were. You dead ass were.
I just didn't want to.
Dead ass were.
We
see through your bullshit. Ratted you out.
We see through your bullshit.
You dead ass for making some shit in the garage you weren't supposed to. Liar.
Oh my god.
I just didn't. I would rather be on a platform, fucking knocking down stucco and bringing down lath and plaster, than be on a fucking ladder.
Yeah, not me. I started in the trades when I was 20 because they paid really good. And I had a lot of children because I found out where children came from and I'd like to visit there. Anyways. Okay? Don't judge me. I don't care. My name's not
judge-free zone. I was told this is judge-free zone. I was told that.
No,
we listen and we don't judge.
Yeah. No, we judge. We judge heavily around here.
Bro, we judge so hard.
But we don't listen. We just think. So I grew up in a big family where, like, you were voluntold that you were helping your uncle do some siding or doing some roofing, or you had to go cut down grandma's shit or be a landscaper or a farmer and pick up the guavas and the oranges in the yard. I decided to get paid for it when I turned 20 because it meant more, you know? I started out as a temp power installer with Power Plus in Escondido, California. I was installing 4x6 poles for new construction and unloading and loading them on the back of busted ass Dodge Ram trucks. Shout out to Power Plus. Yes. No, but listen, they're a great company, bro, and they do really good work, and they're great people. And like you guys both expressed, I was blessed enough to work with that company a couple of different times, and both times I learned a lot about electrical theory, about current, and also about engineering, dude. I worked as a assistant project manager for their underground utilities department. where I got to play with AutoCAD and go to pre-con meetings, which are cool because they got good ass donuts at some of them. But
Yeah, there you
some of
go.
the pre-con meetings suck real bad. And then it was in the summertime, bro, and I was working on a job in my city, and I asked one of the inside wiremen, one of the residential electricians. His name is Scott Smart. Shout out Scott Smart from Baker Electric way back in the day. I was like, how much do you make an hour? And he told me how much he made an hour as an apprentice. And then he asked me how much I made an hour. And he said, don't ever do that again. You should quit your job tomorrow and go down to the union. And
There you
I
go.
was like, yeah, I made 3 times as much, right? Well, I started my career, and where I fit the best is as a wire puller, a humper, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm stupid. It just means I can pull big wire further and faster for longer than most people because I'm built that I can withstand it. And I like to do a lot of underground utilities as well. You know, laying 4-inch and 6-inch pipe banks throughout downtown San Diego for a lot of big projects was really cool for me. I did my fair share of inside wireman work with Qualcomm, and then I moved into low voltage in 2019. 2019, I moved into low voltage, and I couldn't see to begin with. So making up a phone jack or making up the Cat 6 or the Cat 9 that we had to play with was really hard for me to do, period. And so I ended up leaving the trades in 2021 with a mental health issue. And shit, ain't been back since, man. But I had, in the 13-year career, I had almost 17,000 hours.
Sheesh.
And I came in
Fucking crazy.
I came in as a first-year apprentice in 2003 with, I had 9,000 hours in 2003. So I worked all the way to 2019 per year. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, right. Sheesh.
But yeah, and so during my career as an electrician, like everybody else, we experience shit, you know? We go through life changes. One of the things that happened when I wasn't in the trades, but I eventually went back to, was my daughter ended her life at the age of 17, right? And for me in the trades, right, we don't cry. What are you talking about? I'm not crying. It's just monocoat in my face, stupid. Right? Leave it
I
alone.
just splashed myself with Gatorade.
Yeah. I wish it, you know, it's jet lobe or whatever, but I really started to feel it, and the isolation and the stress and responsibility of being a lead man on a big construction job got a little bit too hard for me to handle, bro, you know? And I had to ask myself, I had to have a porta potty meeting, right, with myself. This is like 100% true. I had to ask myself if I could do what I was doing until my children were able to do for themselves, or if I was going to stop living because I couldn't do what I was doing, right? And the answer to that question came in. I walked up to my supervisor and said, I feel like jumping off the fucking roof. And that was the day that my electrical career ended as a union Sparky. Because once you say that to a lead man and you go downstairs and it transfers to the MAP, you are technically unfucking insurable.
Right.
You are a liability across the board, industry wide, right? So it'd be a fool to deny that. What I've done since that day is formed an organization, which is a men's mental health relief and resource center for blue collar boys and girls, so they don't get in trouble with the EAP or the MAP program, and they don't end up jumping off the building with their bags on so they look like a piñata when they fall. Because I know the stresses for me were real bad, you know, and I know a lot of boys that are still in the trenches, and they're fighting too, you know? Yeah. So that's why I'm here in the middle talking shit. Cause I'm kind of serious like that. And it's
Right.
weird.
So with this topic coming up, I decided I wanted to look at this. And holy fuck, did I really sit and go, I was not expecting the fucking results that I saw, like at all. So this is based off of 2021 data.
What are we doing?
Just listen. I
like
just
a
want you to hear this,
parallel-
right? Parallelogram.
You're going to be tested at the end of this. So
I don't do tests. I'm not on probation anymore.
So this report was done in 2021. It was published in 2023. I said it was per 100,000 across the board for construction and extraction trades for males. 65.6 per 100,000.
jeez.
Yes, boys and girls, that shit is true. Your boyfriend's
Oh, no.
struggling while he's at work with his bags on.
And then for females, it's 25.3.
I'm just saying.
That is just crazy, huh?
Now, what's crazier is the installation, maintenance and repair is 46 per 100,000.
You don't think service techs go through it?
Well, I know I do.
Have you heard some of your neighbors yell at the Mexican service techs that come into the fucking complex?
Dude.
Imagine what the little guys and the little girls get that have never been yelled at in their life get.
Right.
Boy, shit.
Jeez,
That's what we call bottom of the boot.
That's why I tell them to carry a squirt gun. Stop talking to me like that.
What's funny is with that. So we were pouring concrete. We had a truck come out. So we asked for about 3/4 of a truck. Guy comes out and tells me, "Hey, do you know what you're doing?" I looked at him. I go, "Nope, was not in the plaster cement mason union at all." And I even gave him my local. And he looks at me and he goes, "Wow, what a way to be a smartass, huh?" And I'm like, "You asked a question. You're," and then he goes on and tries to tell me exactly what the fuck I was doing wrong. I'm like, you came in with the wrong fucking aggregate. Get the fuck out of here.
People come in and ask me questions, and I tell them the thinking positions were given out far, far before I woke up this morning. So it's fallen on deaf ears. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know.
Well, it's like I called for 1/4 inch. Guy comes in with 3/4 inch rock.
He was close, bro. You could have been
close.
He was close, bro.
Dude. Give him a break, man.
Get your heavy equipment operators to scratch another fucking half inch.
I wasn't
out
even
of the
doing
net.
100 fucking yards. I was
Get
doing
that earth
35
mover.
fucking yards.
Go right there.
But it's like I look at it, I'm like, man, that guy probably fucking hated me
He did.
because
Yeah.
But it was, listen, I don't want
to.
it wasn't personal. Like, he hated you when he woke up this morning and he hadn't even fucking saw you yet. You were
100%.
just the person that he was like, somebody's going to shit in my Cheerios today.
Yeah.
And that just happened to be me.
And
Right.
you're the shitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Okay, so
that's what it is with trade, though. The thing is, if you can't have that little banter to get that relief,
it's not
Right.
like that anymore, dude.
and that's
It's not. It's not.
that's the scary part.
People don't talk. They talk about each other, but they don't talk to each other. And then they take what they say and put it on social media so that who they're talking about doesn't even see it, but their family and friends do. Like, it's weird, bro. I've had many a construction dust ups with apprentices and journeymen and general foremen too. Superintendents can get their asses whooped too. But it's a morale and it's a pride thing, right? But it's not an ego thing, right? So you got to take pride in your work, and you got to take pride in the morale that your work completed provides not only for you, but for the people who are going to reside or occupy the installation that you're building right now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
And a lot of dudes don't do that anymore because a lot of dudes are now like, oh, if I learn how to put in a light switch, I can go onto the internet and make myself a handyman ad and charge people $100 without knowing that if you install an electrical application incorrectly and that leads to property damage or life loss, you are criminally fucking liable for that because you are the installer or technician on that operation.
It's
So
really
you-
crazy to like on that same note, kind of bringing up what Travis was saying earlier is it's real crazy because like I don't know what the parameters are for having to pull a permit, like where you guys are at, but for us, if you're working on anything that's over 12 volts, which is everything, like, you know, if you're working
That's
on anything
standard.
over 12 volts, dude, you have to pull a permit. And so we do have a ton of handymen that'll just be like, oh,
You know
bro,
what that means?
I can swap
You
it
can't
out.
Put
you
in
know?
a fucking doorbell wire without
Dude.
a permit.
Correct. Yeah. Doorbell wires. So, yeah.
Sorry.
Literally the receptacles and switches. If you're going to replace it, you're supposed to pull a permit. Like it's really crazy. It's really crazy.
A lot of people, you can ask an apprentice right now, because I believe you're running off of 2021 code. You can ask an apprentice right now, current day, is there a GFI in the master bedroom? And if there is, where is it located? By code. Where does it have to be located by code? And a resi wireman, if they don't tell you behind the headboard there has to be one, they're not hip to game. I could, as a material handler, and I chose that position, I could tell a county code enforcement officer the exact code, subsection, or section of anything they had a question about. So if they came in and talked to me about strapping things down, or how many times I could wrap a coil of wire before I lose in the voltage drop or in anything like that. And there's not a lot of people that take pride in their trade anymore, you know, because everything now is smarter, faster, better, smarter, faster, better. It's not necessarily stronger. So you don't have to be good. You just have to be fast, right?
And I think that's where a lot of the mental health aspect is going to start playing a bigger role in sense of through all trades, right? It's how fast can you get it done? That's it. How fast can you get it done?
It's always been that, right? It's always been that in the world of commerce. That's what it is. Supply and demand. That's what it is.
But at least in the union or outside of union, like for me, when my apprenticeship started at Disneyland, right? And we were told that we had a timeline, but we had to beat that timeline. Even though we had to be on point and on game 12 to 16 hour days.
Yeah.
Like the fact of now, if anybody's coming in as an apprentice for plastering, it's you need to get it done. Doesn't have to look good. You just get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's fucking robots.
Somebody will come in and fix it.
Right. But on that topic or on that statement, right? When I was in the trades, in the from 2000 to 2022. So anybody who watches this and is like, shut up, old man, that was like dinosaur ages. Sucker, that was fucking 3 years ago, you idiot. Listen, what I've done my whole career is I've signed every box cover that I've ever pulled wire into. I've put the last 4 of my social and my union card number. And there's not a lot of dudes left that do that. And people will say, well, there's not time for that. There is time for that. You have to take pride in your profession or in your trade and progress with it. You can't stay stuck in old ways and expect old ways to fit in a new car. That's like trying to put a 350 big block into a fucking Prius. It ain't gonna work, champ.
It's gonna work, just a lot of modification.
Right, but that cuts into your bottom line because it's man hours and you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. No, 100%.
So you have to assimilate, and when you're awkward as fuck or you don't want or can't assimilate without instruction or explanation, then you struggle with those things, and that's where your mental health becomes affected, right? Then you're that hammer-wielding angry framer that's like, bro, I will take your entire hard hat off. I swear to God, if they don't have grilled cheese sandwiches on the lunch truck today, somebody's getting their ass whooped.
Right.
There was a guy.
Oh, go ahead.
There was a guy that I worked with at Disney, right? And he was fucking fresh, super fucking fresh.
Don't be mean. Be mean.
No. Just listen. In the sense of, I had already 2 years under my belt as a junior apprentice going into my apprenticeship, and this kid came in because essentially his dad was a master journeyman, and I'm like, all right, well, this is what we're doing. You're gonna be running mud up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You're gonna be running mud. That's just what this is right now, because we have to get mud. Exactly. That's exactly what it was. It was, I don't have to. I can do what I want, because I'm like, okay, it's not how this works, but
I worked with the head honcho's son. And everybody was afraid of him because he was like the hatchet man, because he'd go, my dad, there. And on many occasions, and he runs work now, and he's cool or whatever, because, you know, but I tell him, you ain't shit. And I'm not afraid of you. And I'll race you down this hallway, application for application, and we'll see your time and experience. And he couldn't handle it because he wasn't equipped, right? But I didn't ignore him or write him off. I just let him know I was there too. And running my mouth wasn't the fastest, easiest, or best fucking course of action to take to get where I'm at today. even though I got bad eyes and a little bit of arthritis in my wrists, I guarantee you I can out trim any apprentice right now with hand tools. They can use all the power tools they need. Give me a whirly bird and a pair of fucking, give me a whirly bird and some needle nose, and you and me and everybody can get paid.
Right.
Well, yeah, you're gonna be done roughly 5 hours before they do.
And I'm not
Right.
breaking any cover plates, and everything is going to be dead nuts. And you can go with a torpedo level if you want to. But it's just repetition, you know?
You know what, too, to bring something up like that Marcel started talking about earlier is something I do try real hard with, like when I was still, right, because now, you know, I own my own company, so I work for myself, which is nice, and then also have you know, working for the school there as an instructor. And before I was doing that, though, I was a foreman for a pretty large privately owned electrical company, and everybody that worked with me, you know, I tried real hard to kind of get over that stigma of like the whole like a macho man mindset, bro, because just like Travis was saying earlier, dude, is like that's how, for some reason, that's just where the trades are at. And I honestly think back to when I was plumbing, because it was like, bro, if you weren't the baddest group of dudes, bro, then you weren't shit.
You're not ready to throw down.
Yeah. And so that's how it was. And it's just like, dude, like, why is it like this? And so it's nice that, like, you know, there's some of us, right, that do feel where it's like, dude, okay, like, first of all, like, you know, the best electrician that I know is a woman. She is the best foreman that I know. She is so organized. She busts ass. She'll put people in place, but she just really, really knows her shit, and she's extremely organized. And like when you're running jobs, you know, and you're a foreman, you know, I first met her up in that company that I was working for. Although I was the foreman here in Cruces, there was a job in Salt Lake City, Utah, where our company was also doing that, and they were bringing people in from the other branches. And so we got to go out there, and so I got to meet her, and I was like, damn, like, so she was the foreman for one building, and I was the foreman for another building. It was a prison right outside of Salt Lake City, Utah, just to the northwest of it.
Shout out Northwest Prison in Salt Lake, whatever. Lock them up, bitches.
But she had been there for some like 6 to 8 months or something like that at that point by the time we got out there. And man, it was just, you know, just seeing her mindset of like how she was, like she had a calm demeanor, but she was just like, we're here to bust ass, guys. Like, you know, it is definitely a maturity thing. Cause like it's a bunch of children that get into trades to begin with. And they're like, bro, I'm gonna cut this board here. It's so good. You know, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's just crazy that like, there's so
that
many.
It's going to be straight. I promise you,
dude,
but it's not, but
you know,
it's not.
So it's crazy frustrating. And like, and it was nice because whenever I try to maintain that kind of mindset, right, the whole time that I was working as a foreman, and it trickled down to everybody that worked underneath me of just like, dude, like we're all just here trying to make money. Like we don't have to have some kind of crazy ass ego, bro. Like we're all just trying to make money. And then what was crazy was, guess what? Right. All right. So you ready for this? So I've been fired twice in my life. All right. So that one time was when I was plumbing, right? And then I got fired from this company, and that was, 3.5 years ago, basically, right when I was trying to get my contractor's license. But right after when they had a new foreman, that foreman that they got, he came down from Albuquerque to help them here in Cruces, and just ran them to the ground, dude. And a lot of them quit. A lot of them ended up going up to Albuquerque to go there. They ended up having to close the branch down. Like it was a crazy ordeal. And it's just like, that's, I don't know, like they stopped, like, because they have this ego of like, oh, well, you don't need to stretch in the morning, bro. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nah, bitch. Like, we're going to do our stretch and flex every day. It makes a difference. Like, we take care of yourself.
Oh, you on that DR Horton job shit.
Bro, DR Horton, bro. Yeah, right? Dude, see what I mean? Right? Bro, like, it's crazy. And it's crazy. Like,
DR Horton, I love your lunch trucks, bro.
Yeah, right? And it's crazy to see, like, even all those guys that are still working in the trades now, they're like, bro, it's rough now without you here. Guess like they're like, it's super toxic. No one does what they're supposed to. It's just masculinity just to the extent. It's like, bro, like we're seeing so many more and more women come into the trades, which I think is absolutely fantastic, because it's like they're better at us in so many things. We just know how to pick things up and put them down. Bro. You know,
that's all they listen. The chicks in the trades get in the trades not because they think that they're not good enough. They just go there because they hear that there's a lot of fights, and there's a lot of women that I know that have a lot of aggression and would love to beat the dog shit out of a dude. And at a job site, you don't want to get beat up by a girl. You really don't. You don't. I'm telling you right now. And a woman who can outwork you, and outclass you is
Well, huh?
very fucking terrifying,
Right. 100%.
right? And so the decent apprentices and foremen and leads that are ladies, they're probably, the majority of them are really, really cool, man.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
they
absolutely.
understand how hard it is to be where they're at.
Right. Dude.
So
Yeah.
they don't want to take any shit and they don't want to hear any excuses.
Yeah.
They just need to get the job done, you know?
I do think it's nice that we are kind of creeping out of that whole, like, you know, it was just all you saw on all the job sites was just men. And granted, it's still a lot of men at this point, but it's nice that we're kind of creeping out of that. And then also too, on that same side of just like, you know, starting to be a little more open to other people that are wanting to jump into the trades is not just, you know, the male female aspect, right? But also it's crazy to see that, you know, now, because like I said, like back when, you know, I made all my mistakes way back when, right out of high school, and it was like the only option at the time. It was like, you're gonna have to jump in the trades. You're just gonna have to. And now it's like, dude, people with degrees want to get into the trades. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the tables are turning so quick. It's like, which is good, like real good for us. Cause like it'll weed out those ones that just have the mad ego that don't actually know what they're talking about. They will get slowly filtered out because there's going to be so many others that get brought into this. And so it's, I love to see where the trades are going, man. It's really, really crazy. And then I think with a lot of people starting to, you know, with like AI and stuff like that, bro, AI ain't going to take our jobs, at least. Like, they ain't going to take trades. You know what I mean?
So,
you know what I mean?
So the thing is, I just tell people all the time, man, when you're at work and you're doing the trades, I know that the job sucks. You may think it does, right? Because you come home and you're sweaty at 3:00 in the afternoon and you're up at dark 30 and you're driving and the freeway is cold and quiet and shit. And you're out there, knuckles hurt, whatever. But in 25, 30 years from now, when you don't have to be an electrician anymore and you want to go do some work, you could waddle your broken ass into Home Depot and get a nice little job being a cashier or a store clerk in a retail with experience.
Right.
You know?
That actually knows what they're talking about, which is a huge win. Like, there's a guy that at my Home Depot where I'm like, every time I see him, I'm like, bro, what is going on, man? What do you guys got that's new? What's going on? Like, what are you doing? And cause it's like, he knows the stuff and he's like, I just, you know, I didn't want to be an inspector. I was just done out in the field. You know what I mean? He's like, but I just like it here. You know, and I'm like,
one of my buddies at Home Depot in Escondido, I used to go in there and he would shoot the shit with me and tell people, ask him. He knows. That dude knows more than me. He'll tell you, I just fucking work here.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just here to say hello.
Yeah, sell you the wrong part twice, but we're not supposed to tell you that.
Right.
But yeah, it's just it is really crazy to see, right? But then on that same side of things, you know, like where we are coming from, where, you know, these past, you know, 10, 15, 20, I mean, it really has been like that since the beginning of trades. But, you know, going back to the root of all this, right, of just like the mental health, man, of like, if you're not, like I said, because when I was plumbing is when I was just like, bro, like, what is with everybody? Like, everyone's so angry. And I'm like, I'm literally just here to get paid. Like, you know, I'm like, and of course, like at the time I was all, you know what I mean? At the time I was a pain in the ass too. So, I mean, like, you know, the way we would settle arguments was literally fighting. Like,
oh yeah, listen.
What? How immature were we? Like, what is the deal?
Dude,
it's crazy.
So
it's crazy.
It will always be meet me outside the gates at 5.
Bro, and it's like,
what?
Dude,
no, we will not. We can go out to the porta potties right now.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
just
took
so
the porta
crazy.
potty over with a dude in it and sent him down a hill. My first year, I was an apprentice.
Look, for
sent him down a hill.
For us, it was literally
God.
Meet me at the gate at 5, or I'll see your ass in the morning.
That gives you a lot of time to like get sick and go to the porta potty and shit. Oh no, if we have a problem, it's me and you, Pancho. We're gonna go on site real quick.
But think of it, half the time, plasters and cement masons, you're working fucking side by side with that motherfucker every day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but you know what? You can still slap him. You can still slap him. Right. You know, because I had to go to work with dudes that we've had scraps before, and you got to come back to work.
So have I.
You know, but one thing I think I learned was I don't fight for no reason, right? If there's a viable reason, like if you betray my trust and steal my tools, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna beat the shit. But if you want to argue because you don't want to pull this last 150 feet,
it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just like, bro, what
Oh,
what do
dude,
you
dude.
think here? What do you think here?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's crazy. Actually, so here's a crazy story. Okay. So the last fight that I got in while actually in the trades, right, was
With that
now
baby
is
face of yours.
I know. It's
so it was
close,
so it
so
was about
shiny,
so much shine glistening,
so much glistening.
Yeah.
Shine bright like a
So,
diamond.
so it was about 7 years ago. At the time, I was a foreman up in Albuquerque. We were wiring it was called the Albuquerque Little Theater, is what it was called. So it was in downtown. And right, everybody knows that Albuquerque is just trash because it is. It is a rough fucking place,
Oh,
bro.
shout out
Who
to
knew?
Albuquerque.
God, man, it was rough. But
Fucking trash truck.
But you know what, or so it might have been 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. But basically,
That's
there was
horrible.
actually, and actually, Travis, you
Oh.
actually might know the date better than I do. But there was actually like a crazy shooting at a mall. Like someone
Shout out
came
to Albuquerque.
from,
Yeah,
I
dude,
love
like it
you.
was
I
way
love
bad. There was literally
Albuquerque.
like, it was literally
I
like
remember that.
it was a lot of people got killed, man. It was really, really crazy. Like someone
I-
came from out of town, drove
Yeah.
to El Paso. It was a crazy thing, man. Really, really bad. I honestly I can't even remember all the statistics
You
now
mean
at this point. But it was,
Albuquerque?
Yeah,
no,
not El
that was in
Paso.
El Paso. No, yeah, that shooting was in El Paso, but I was living in Albuquerque. And I'll never
Dang.
get
Yeah,
the.
no, it was in El Paso. I remember that. That was
Yeah.
Dang.
It was way bad, bro. But right, so I'm up in Albuquerque and I'm working there, and I was the foreman, and there was another guy that was with me that started talking mad shit because he was hella racist, and we always butted heads.
Ooh, I got a
But dude,
good
he
story
started.
about that.
Bro, he started saying shit. He was just like, man, I wish I could have been there. Like, shit. And bro, and so we fought, dude. We fought hard, and we both had to go and do, we were fighting on the street like a bunch of losers, man. But again, like Marcel just said, valid, worth it, 100%. And we both had to
100%.
take a few 100%, and we both had to take a few days off. We had to go to counseling, quote unquote. Oh, what's crazy is afterwards, right, he felt real bad, and granted, I'm like, of course, well, you fucking should, but
Because he got his
but-
ass whooped.
broke, you know what I mean? And but so he was like, I want to give you something because he knows
2019.
he knows that it was 2018.
6
Okay,
years.
yeah, so it was 7 years ago.
2019, 6 years. No, 2019.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
6
Okay,
years
so
ago.
6 years.
Who
Yeah, so
cares?
6 years.
6 year goes August.
Who cares?
Yeah, okay, in August. Yeah, okay. But so
So significant for me is because that's when I bought my car.
oh, there you go.
That's
Okay.
when I bought the fucking car.
Yeah, right on. But so he comes in, right? We both had to take a week off, right? And we had to go to counseling and stuff like that, and had to go to like these little meetings and stuff or whatever. And so you come back, right? And it's Monday, and again, because you get in your fight and then you go about your day. But he came back and he was like, hey man, like, I really fucked up. I'm gonna keep
Sorry.
going to a counselor, stuff like that. But he was like, but I actually brought you something, and he knows that I was actually learning to play guitar. So that's that guitar right here. I still have it.
You beat
But,
the shit out of that dude,
so-
didn't
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I mean, I really never cared much for the guy, but I was like, hey, okay, like, so I try to keep it because I'm like,
you? Like,
I don't
next
know, it was
week
a
I
sign
want
of
the
some-
amplifier too.
you know, what I mean? right?
I want your picks out of your tool bag. You fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. And so that all just leads back to more of just like, dude, the mental space that a lot of these trades guys are in
I had a-
is crazy. It's just crazy. And granted, I used to be there too. You know what I mean? I used to be there too, but it's just, you end up getting out of that after a while, or some of us do at least.
I've always been that dude that I've always been anti-racism because I've been a target of racism, but I've never been a victim of racism. You know what I mean? Like it's never
Sure.
debilitated me to the point where I'm like, I can't go outside.
Yeah.
It's always been like, shit, you got to do 26 months in fucking jail because you beat the dog shit out of somebody
Yeah.
for running their mouth about some dumb words they don't understand. Right?
Yeah.
I was working in Poway for Baker Electric, and I was upstairs with an apprentice on a scissor lift. We were doing a run of 450 feet of 2-inch, a bank of 5 across, and it had to drop down 8 inches and then 90 and then drop out another 4 into an electric room on the floor below. I got all the way to the 90, and 2 sticks before the 90, I went and asked the foreman, hey man, your measurements are off. Do you
Uh-oh.
mind if I offset this shit so that it doesn't look like trash and we both get out of here on time? And he said, yeah, sure. Go. Let me see what you're talking about. Give me a second. So I went back up onto the lift, and me and the dude, we took our time and went back and hooked up all of our pipe straps on our unistrap, right? And so as we're going through these trapeze, here comes the foreman. And the foreman comes up and goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? Do you not understand English, Paco? And he was talking to the fucking apprentice.
Oh
I
God.
dropped the lift.
Whoa.
You dropped the lift. I told the dude, hey, homie, pump your brakes. Don't say nothing to this guy because he's trying to punk you as an apprentice. I got this. So I dropped the lift. I said, put your tools away. Take your tool belt off. That's all I want you to do. He took his tool belt off. We exited the lift. And I walked over to the foreman and I said, listen, bro, first of all, I'm a person of color. Second of all, I'm going to call my union rep. And third of all, if you say anything else derogatory towards my apprentice or myself, I'm probably going to get a couple of days off and you're probably going to have some surgery. I don't know what part of the world you think you're still pulling wire in, Wild Bill. We don't do that shit around here. And I don't care what part of town you're in.
Yeah.
That's a hill I'm willing to die on for these younger cats, because no matter where you're at, and I'm not just saying that because he was a white dude, because I've had some black dudes that were hella racist and stupid too.
Yeah, they do that.
They
Yeah.
both caught
Yeah.
the same pair of hands from your boy. But anyways, that dude lost his job, you know, not the foreman, the apprentice lost his job. I left that company after they fired the apprentice. My union rep just asked me to come down and fill out a report. I filled out a report and so did the apprentice, and they still went with the contractor. So there's strength in numbers, and always stand up for your brothers and sisters while you're on the job. If
Yeah.
you wouldn't have somebody talk to you like that, don't let somebody talk to somebody else the way that they're talking
Real.
to, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100 fucking percent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll lose my job before you lose your teeth. Trust me.
Right. Right.
I'll lose my shit before you lose your teeth.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think
And
for
that-
me it was
and that's-
apart from right, because like I obviously look like a super white guy because my dad's side very white, right?
You
A
said,
lot of
"I look like
Irish
a
and
super white
shit
guy."
like that.
Here
You know what I
comes-
mean? Like you're super standard, like
It's just glisten.
European, you know what I mean?
It's just
But
glisten.
my mom, right, who obviously I'm super close with, is here in town. You know, I'm close with all my relatives from here and
Mhm.
stuff. But my mom is Mexican and Spanish.
See, she got that
I just,
Spaniard glow.
you know what I mean? So, dude, you know what I mean? And so
Yes.
so I'm that same way,
Sand
man.
glue.
But I think for me, like it rooted like from when I was really, really young, just because right, again, my dad and my mom split when I was super young, my biological father. But my mom remarried when I was 4, so only a couple of years after she moved back here. And I just call him my dad, right? Because he was my dad till he's the one that passed away, now 16 years ago. But growing up, he was a great guy, but his family, they were all this, okay. So basically his mom, so my grandmother, technically, right? She was extremely racist towards my mom and then towards me because I was like the little kid, right? But even though I didn't look it, but then, and I mean, it was like crazy bad. Like I remember, like not crazy bad. I shouldn't say crazy bad because it could have been worse. But like I remember, like as we were growing up, because
That's still crazy bad.
yeah. But I remember he already had 2 kids. So my step brother and sister, right, who were my age, and then my mom had me already, right? So they got married. So it was us 3 siblings. But because they were white and they were his kids, the grandma like treated them like royalty, right? Especially like me being as like the third wheel coming in. But I remember like the main things were like I remember like during like for Christmas, whenever they do, the whole family would all get together and do like Secret Santa. I was left out every year. Anytime there
I
was like
stole their
Easter,
shit.
bro.
I
Like, but
stole
like
their shit.
as growing up as a kid, like I'm just like sick. I get to like take the pictures of her, and like my mom would buy me extra stuff and shit like that, like to try to kind of offset it. But then I started realizing I was like, my name's literally never been a part of this, like for years. And then like for
They
Easter,
never
like
called my name.
Bro, you know what I
never
mean?
get a
For real.
number.
yeah,
This
and
is weird.
I never
Yeah.
got the white elephant.
right, dude, for real. And my mom would like just try to help like alleviate it. And I know her and my dad would fight about it all the time because like my dad would try to kind of like talk to his grandma about it and stuff like that. But it was the aunts and uncles too, man. It was crazy. But anyway, then there was like like for Easter, I would be the one that helped to hide the eggs, even though like I was a little kid. Like, and then like my stepbrother and sister, they'd get to find the eggs, but I never got to find them. Like it was always like random, you know what I mean? Like it was just like random stuff like that, but it was a lot of things like that over the years. And so I just grew up like not really knowing until like I got to maybe like middle school and stuff like that. Then I started to be resentful and stuff, and that escalated from there. But so like that, like they were never like straightforward to my face. But then then my stepdad and my mom, they ended up having 2 other kids who I just consider those my sisters, right? Those are my sisters now, a lot younger than me. But one thing that same grandmother had told my little sister was my mom took her to get her ears pierced, right? Which is a lot of people do that for a little kid that's only a few years old, right? 3, 4.
Right.
She was like 3 or 4, something like that. But she got her ears pierced, and my grandma told her my little sister when at 4, she was like, well, you should have told your mom to only do one because you're only half Mexican. Like, you don't need to have your other, like, shit like that. Like, she'd say these things. And like, when you're all that young, like, you don't catch it, you know what I mean? Or you don't think about it much or whatever. But bro, I remember that real clear.
I'd have fired on grandma.
You know what I mean? And so I actually remember, like, she actually just passed away several years ago. And I remember that one of my sisters, because my other little sister was like too young to know. My youngest sister was 10 when our dad passed away.
Right.
And so she was a little bit too young to kind of like remember a lot of that stuff. But the other sister, one that my grandma told that to, when our grandma passed away, because I don't consider her my grandma, but for context, it's easy to say it that way. But my sister called me and she's like, we got to have a drink. She's dead. She died. Like, she's gone. Like, you know, like, and so we did, you know. It was just so crazy.
Y'all ain't going to hell.
You know what I mean? We never wish ill will, but if there's anybody,
right.
that was right
never
up
wished
on there,
ill will, but I drank a lot of that shit.
Yeah, and she
drink a lot of that well,
bro, and my grandmother, she'd try to talk our dad into, like, you know, splitting up with my mom and stuff like that, because his ex, you know, is just like a nice white lady, blah blah blah. It was just it was crazy. It was crazy growing up, man. But so that like you know, that deep root of feel, like, again, I'm just your typical white guy, but feeling that racism, bro, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking stand for it. Hence why, and Travis knows this, bro. If someone when we're like playing video games, if I'm streaming, bro, if someone brings up race to some extent, I'm like, I am going to fuck shit up right now. Like, I'm like, it makes me so mad.
IP,
dude.
Yeah. Your house.
It drives me crazy.
Gonna get real mad.
It drives me crazy.
So with that, right? It lights a fire up under my ass when somebody's like that. And I've had that happen twice.
What?
In the past 5 years, when I was working at U-Haul, I had this employee named Frankie, and he's a big guy, big Mexican guy, fucking redneck piece of shit. And I will say it wholeheartedly like
Stop
that.
saying that stuff.
Piece of shit.
Stop saying that.
Redneck.
Don't disrespect shit like that.
Oh.
I see Frankie. Here's the thing. I see Frankie like physically, like, he's pissed. Like, pissed. Like, he's pissed. He's hurt. I'm like, hey, what the fuck just happened? He goes, no, fuck that guy. You know, he told me that I just might as well be a frijoles. I'm like, he said what? I'm like, he fucking said what? And so I go and confront the guy, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck's your problem? Like, the fuck's your problem? And I can't stand for racist ass people.
Dude,
I can't stand for racist ass people.
I just can't stand it. It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Listen, I love to see passionate people who make a stand against racism, and I don't want, like, I'm a mutt, right? I'm Indian, feather, not dot. Okay,
there you go,
motherfucker.
Right,
like casino, not 7-Eleven.
There you go.
And I'm black and I'm white. Okay, motherfucker. So, and I have blue eyes, and I was born with blonde hair, and I grew up in San Diego, California.
So then, by all statistics, you're white.
I'm purple as shit, white as fuck, right? But I've had to endure. Listen, I've had to endure people thinking that word or racial slurs or connotations of demoralizing or degrading another person because of the color of their skin flies around me is absolutely ludicrous, right? But I don't look at it as like a violent, like militant thing. That's why I don't think it upsets me. I think it depresses me more than anything, right?
100%.
Because it's like, listen, bro, if you're fucking that retarded, bro, that you ran out of words and had to use that colorful metaphor that your grandpappy's pappies made up, you're stupid. Therefore, I don't have to combat it. I have a choice to inform, right? Or exclude and say, I'm going to school you on what racism really is, right? Or I'm going to expose you to the rest of the world so you can no longer hide in your stupid little cave of stupidity.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, like, I experience it here. It is a very, very high predominantly like Asian culture, Persian culture, and stuff like that. So when we have to like deny a sale for like anything, like for something like stupid, because like for whatever reason, it literally comes to, well, I had to literally walk out and say, "Oh, you're just some stupid white guy, anyways."
Listen,
I'm like, And here's the thing. That particular statement, what like
Makes you mad, doesn't it?
what the fuck?
Don't make
And
it.
it
Don't
did.
let it make you mad,
No.
bro.
Well, the thing is, it not only did it make me mad, but it was like, what the actual fuck?
You can't get mad at that, bro. You can't. If somebody says
Can't
that
let the
to
bad
you,
guys win.
Oh, so
not
here's the
even-
thing. I told
but
her to have a
if-
great rest of her day.
yeah, listen. If she would have said, "You're just some stupid colored boy," I'd have been like, "You can see me? Shit! I thought I was invisible.
Right.
Fucking
But it's like, well,
no shit."
anything like that. Like, I'll just have a great rest of your day.
But
I
see,
won't- I
you're
won't
you're
show
better
them
than
that
me
it
because
affects
I'd have been like, "I like pickles too." It's weird that you would say that.
Right? Man,
fucking
Man, good for you, Travis, because I just
Right?
could not.
The thing is I deal with it. I deal with it a lot. There was a particular day that
Shout out to
it was
Ruffles.
a bad day, and to the point where I came home and I was not okay. I was not okay. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I felt like everything that I had done in my life didn't mean shit, and that was because I was allowing somebody else's fucking bad behavior affect me. And so,
Seriously, like, listen, this is good shit right here.
and it's the fact that I look at it, it's like, why did I allow that to affect me as much as it did? And it took a moment to actually be like, let me break this down. Why do I feel the way that I do? And everything that I circle back to, I did my fucking job. I did what I was supposed to. So it was no longer my fault that person was having a fucking attitude for something that I unfortunately could not help them with.
Can't fix stupid.
Yeah. Right.
And it's happened quite a few times. I mean, COVID, fuck that shit.
Travis, are you buying me lunch today? No? Okay.
No.
Right.
I'm hungry.
What happened to your bag of chips?
I'm hungry. Stop judging me. Shout out to Ruffles. They take the edge off.
Right.
You just need a
It's
fucking
calling me.
Snickers. You're not yourself when you're doing your
Calling me.
not yourself when you're hungry.
Give that man a Snickers. I don't eat veins like that, gentlemen. Why you got to give Snicker bars a vein? Why? Why? Why the fuck you got to put a vein in a candy bar? Huh?
Couple things that I wanted to touch base on, right? Just a couple.
Every time I look to my right, I feel like I'm watching College Game Day. Give it to him, Skip.
Season. It is football season.
3rd down and 8. 3rd down and 8. Drops back to pass.
So
Shit.
you got fucking baseball season winding down. You got football season fucking in full force,
Cranking up.
right? So
Don't even.
you
Don't.
fucking made me lose my spot.
Right.
Yeah.
You
That's
said a
right.
couple
Yeah.
things I really wanted to touch on,
Yep.
and then it was gone.
All right. It was gone.
then it
Baseball
was gone.
season.
Yeah.
Go Padres.
Wow.
And Red Sox. I said it. Fuck yeah.
I'm-
Don't be mad. Don't be mad.
So, Aaron, with everything, with running your business, with teaching
Shit,
at
he's
the college,
considered.
where do you find your most peaceful moments?
Wow. That is a hell of a question. Okay, so most peaceful, you know what's really crazy is I shit you not, it's either just sitting on the couch next to Stacy watching a show, or not even watching shows. You know how often we have like just ambiance playing in the background, and like, dude, I'll just sit. It's pretty often. But crazy enough is like pretty close second is actually while playing games. Like, and granted, all you see me play is a whole ton of Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Bullshit.
You know what I mean? Right?
He's on the computer.
But whenever I'm
no,
playing,
I'll
like,
show you. I'll send you some video of his gameplay. He gets
Dude.
heated as fuck.
oh yeah, but apart from playing, like normally if I'm not streaming, right? I'm not streaming. I'm playing like some other stuff. You know what I mean? Then that's when I think of where I'm just like nice, yeah, like just hanging out. Just that's about it. So.
When you don't have a solitaire screen, just fucking.
What about
running
you,
around.
Trav? What
Yeah,
about you,
right.
Trav?
Yeah.
Where's your go-to? What's your
My go-to for my peaceful moments, honestly, it's spending time with Katie. It doesn't matter. It does not matter where we're at. It is spending time with her, and that wasn't until I didn't start realizing that those were my peaceful moments until maybe about a year ago. Even like my stay away from me is video games. My peaceful moments is literally no matter if we could be out fucking TJ Maxx, Christmas shopping, fucking Halloween decor. It's
Yeah.
her. She's my peaceful moment.
TJ Maxx. Shout out TJ Maxx.
TJ Maxx.
Maxx.
box.
Yeah.
Who knew? You know what I mean?
Who knew?
Who knew
I mean,
TJ
we-
Maxx?
look,
Who knew?
Who knew
Listen,
TJ Maxx would be so fucking soothing?
Bro,
right?
the more
Shout
you know.
out to the clearance section of
Now
TJ
we're getting
Maxx.
real deep, man. TJ
All
Maxx of
right.
all places.
This motherfucker
Wow.
said TJ Maxx.
I mean, if we're talking that kind of piece, I mean, like, you know,
I like
Freddy's
Burlington
for a
Go
custard
Factory on
or something
Tuesdays.
Like that. Yeah,
Between
see,
the hours of 7
Yeah.
p.m.
Listen, we
and
don't
close.
have Freddy's out here, so
This
don't talk
motherfucker,
to me no more about that.
TJ Maxx.
This motherfucker's talking about Freddy's out here.
Shout
Yeah.
out TJ Maxx.
You know how long it's been since I've had Freddy?
damn, that long, huh? That's a real
Oh,
shame.
Dude.
15 years ago?
Oh,
It
man.
is crazy that you mentioned that though too, like, you know, being able to have like for you, like having a person, right? Because for me, like, I really don't mind just being by myself, and I think about that a lot because, you know, Stacy really likes when the two of us are hanging out, right? And obviously, like, I do too, but I also like, I don't mind doing other stuff though also, right? Like, she's my person, but I like, you know, my own time and stuff like that too. And I think I just got so used to that just from work. There were a lot of years where I was just by myself, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just kind of came to being at peace on your own, not having anybody there and stuff like that. And I think that's super crucial is like finding that, and something that I tried to make sure that I found a long while back is like finding the peace in yourself first and being like happy on your own by yourself alone.
Pimp that shit.
And
Pimp it out.
then you know what I mean, then finding someone that adds to that instead of like and I'm not saying that that's what you're doing or anything like that. I just like, I think that's what I used to do when I was a lot younger, was I'd like be like, oh well, this is the person that brings me happiness. Nah, I bring me happiness, and then she just adds to it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She adds to the
Oh, yeah.
happiness.
Yeah.
And so as far as that kind of stuff goes, you know what I mean, like that's how I feel as far as that goes. But yeah, as far as like just finding like inner peace, just kind of
It's about to get loud and
being able
loud.
to relax and whatnot. Yeah.
My puppies are coming home, I think, from the vet. But yeah, thanks for asking. I mean, my quiet space is usually at the driving range or in the water. I like to just
Ooh.
fucking sit in a boat. I don't have to fish
So,
or nothing.
oddly, so
I like the driving range though. I
I
really
can
do.
tell you,
No kidding.
Katie's peaceful place is literally reading a book, right? But before that, just listen. Oddly enough, before that, my peace used to be the water. It used to be surfing.
Yeah, nobody said
Ironically.
anything about that extracurricular exercise
But-
shit, surfing. When
But
I say
listen,
water, I'm
me,
completely content
Fucking
being.
me, it was surfing. For the longest time, it was surfing.
Yeah, I bodyboarded for like 20 years, and I surfed during a bodyboarding, expedition. But now I'm 50 years old and I am cool as fuck standing in waist deep cold ocean water with a nice
Broken.
cold libation in an aluminum can or in a Yeti of some sort with a mixture of concoctions and a cigarette in my other hand, watching the world that I have survived in long enough to enjoy fucking exist around me. Knowing the
Yeah.
battles that I fought to get where I am, the people I've lost along the way, right? And the sacrifices I've made, I like to take as much fucking time as I can to try to understand the peace that I've earned, because sometimes
Oh,
the peace
100%.
that I've earned, bro, I feel like I've earned a lot of peace that a lot of people don't understand. Therefore, they aren't inclined to respect or anticipate the peace that I am in, right? Because they're just being them and I'm just being me, right? So it's about sharing those peaceful moments with people in a non-invasive, non-threatening way, It's like standing in the water with a White Claw. Sup, bro? And then some dude over there is like, sup, dude, who'd you vote for? That's when you turn around and you go right back to your fucking chair and you put the White Claw down because obviously it's not grown-up time in the water. Okay?
You know what? I cannot do White Claw.
I just picked it because shout out
I'm
White
just
Claw.
telling you.
I'm trying to do some endorsement deals and you're fucking it up.
Okay, well then fucking shout out Glenn Fiddick or Deanston or fucking Loch Lomond. Like,
That
come the fuck
too!
on.
Yeah! Listen, it's an amazing world that we live in. I want to come to Crucis when you become an administrator and faculty. And
Phew, there you go.
I want to speak to your class about the importance of mental health and emotional regulation and how much and how important the guy next to you on a ladder is to your career, just as your intelligence and knowledge in the field is. Okay?
Right. Right, for sure.
By the way, nice plug this whole time.
Boom.
Bro.
Who, me? I'm so thirsty.
Product placement.
Right. You know, water just tastes better coming out of a tumbler like that, you know?
Shout out product
You know?
placement. You
Yeah.
wouldn't know if I
Right.
didn't put it where you could fucking see it. So
Right.
there it is.
So, you know, and to wrap it up, it doesn't wrap it up.
Wrap it up, B. Wrap it up, B. I had to do
It
that.
doesn't.
Shout out. What movie that was in? Half Baked. Actually. Do your fucking homework,
Do
losers.
your fucking homework, bro.
Do your fucking homework.
Losers! Welcome to the Quiet Minds. Shout out AA Ron. Tomorrow Need You. And TPZ.
We're gonna get through this one day at a time. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what trade you're in. Doesn't matter what you do. That's just what it is. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed the Quiet Minds.